Art Kurtz here, and this is Easy Access Math. And today we are going to work on multiplying and dividing exponents. And here we have multiplication of exponents. It's actually two monomials that contain a base number and two variables, each with an exponent. And we're going to multiply those. Now, in the case you don't see an exponent after a variable, as this one down here, you know that that's going to be a 1. You can even put in the 1 if you like. Now, let's try the top one, and then I'll give you some time to do the bottom two before I work it out. On top, we have 3x squared y to the 6th multiplied by 6x to the 5th, y to the 2nd. And what we're going to do is multiply our base numbers, the coefficients, the big numbers. We have 3 times 6, and that gives us 18. X to the 2nd and x to the 5th. We add the exponents. Remember, you actually multiply the big numbers, the base number, the coefficient, but when you multiply exponents, you add them. 2 and 5 gives me x to the 7th, and I add the y exponents, y6 and y2 is y to the 8th. Now, be careful if you ever have negative exponents along the way, because remember, when you add a negative to a positive, you're actually subtracting. It's your rules of sign numbers. Keep that in mind when you add exponents in multiplication. Now, I'm going to show you division of exponents right over here, and then you'll have time to do the lower two each of multiplication and division. When we divide exponents, we actually divide the base number, the coefficient. So 16 divided by 8 gives me 2. I'm going to put my answer right on this side. And I subtract the exponent. So 5 take away 2 is 3. Put that after the x, x to the 3rd. 2 take away, well, I don't see a number there, but we know that means there's that imaginary 1. 2 take away 1 is 1. So that would just be y to the 1st power, but we never put in the 1. So my answer would be 2x to the 3rd y. Why don't you try these? The multiplication, we have negative 2x squared y to the 3rd in the first parenthesis, multiplied by 3x y to the 4th. And remember, that would be a 1 over there. And the second one, we have in the first set, the first monomial, 6a to the 2nd, b to the 7th, and 3a, b to the negative 3rd in the second monomial. And here on our division problem, 108 a to the 7b squared divided by negative 36 a squared b, and negative 4x to the 21st power y to the 3rd over negative 2x7y. I'll give you a few minutes, work these out, and then we'll be right back with the answers. Okay, how did you do? Let's find out. I'll put the answers on the board, so stay with me here. We have a negative 2 and a positive 3. We're multiplying those base numbers, and that gives me a negative 6, because the signs are unlike and we're multiplying, and multiplication, negative and positive is negative. 2 times 3, 6. Our exponents we add. So x to the second, and this is like that invisible 1, x to the first, gives me x to the third. And the y to the third, and y to the fourth, add them, y to the seventh. So we have negative 6x to the third, y to the seventh. Down here, 6 times 3 is 18. A to the second, remember we actually multiply those big numbers, the coefficient, but the exponents we add. A to the second and a, again, invisible 1 to the first is a to the third. B to the seventh and b to the negative 3. We combine them, we add them, but we're adding a positive and a negative. Remember your sign numbers, and for a refresher, may I recommend you check out our video on sign numbers. And that would give us 7, and negative 3 is positive 4, or b to the fourth, always giving it the sign of the higher number. Let's try some division. 108 and negative 36 again. It's a sign of, it's unlike signs. It doesn't matter which is higher. The signs are unlike, and in division that would constitute a negative sign for your answer. 108 divided by 36 is 3. A, and when we divide, we subtract the exponents. A7 and A2 is a to the fifth. B2, and there's that invisible 1 again, would be b to the first, or just b, giving me negative, because unlike signs in division, 3a to the fifth b. When only one sign is negative and the other is positive, or in this case, no sign meaning positive, the answer is always negative because the signs are unlike. Down here, both of my signs are negative. 2 negatives equal a positive, so it's going to be positive 4 divided by 2 is 2. x21 and x7, we subtract the exponent, gives me x to the 14. y3 and y to the first. When there's no number, no exponent, you put that 1 in, gives me y to the second. So my answer there, 2x to the 14th, y to the second. And that's our lesson on multiplying and dividing exponents. Keep watching us at Easy Access Math.